stand as a mark of respect. Om Anadhinedhano Deva Shankachakra Gadadhara Akshay Pundarikaksham Preta Mokshe Prado Bhava. Sitaram, Namaste, pleasant good afternoon to each and every one of you. My name is Pandit Rudra Sharma, and at this point in time I ask that we all clasp our hands, close our eyes in an attitude of prayer as this afternoon we pray for our dear departed soul. Wherever she may she find eternal resting peace, may she attain moksha, may she find comfort in the journey of afterlife. Om Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsacharuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishna Vande Jagat Guru. He Krishna Kamlapati Yadupati Sitapati Siripati Vaikuntharipati Characharpati Lakshmi Pati Pahimam Vishnu Shambhu Ganesancha Brahman Bharati Tantata Shiva Govindaye Namo Nama Narayan Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottama Deviyam Saraswati Chaiva Jai Sudavura Jayate. Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Everyone please be seated. Devotees, there are three questions in life that we would have discussed earlier as we performed today what we call Anteshti Karam. Anteshti Karam refers to the final rites, or as we commonly know, the funeral service. And those three questions earlier today, they were Mai kaun hu, Mai kaha se aata hu, or Mai kaha ja rahunga. The first question saying Mai kaun hu is who am I? And if I ask you, who are you? Auntie over there would say she's Dulari. He would say he is Rabindra. But the answer, my friends, today is my Atma hu. It simply means that Atma refers to the soul, or as we know it as that spark of divinity. Mai kaha se aata hu, from where have I come? It says that we have come from Paramatma, or that supreme spark of divinity. And Mai kaha ja rahunga. It asks, where do we want to go? My friends, do we want to go to heaven? Do we want to go to hell? Where do we want to go? The answer is simple. The Gita teaches us that we want to attain moksha or liberation. Simply meaning that the soul neither goes to heaven or hell, but it goes back, it merges back in oneness with Bhagwan, Paramatma, or as all of us say, God. As earlier we have said that there's Titus Koti, 33 million different ways we can say the word God. Some of us may say Lord Ram, some of us may say Bhagwan Shiva, some of us may say Jesus, some of us may say Allah. In whatever way you pray to God, that one word, God, represents that supreme spark of divinity. And in Hinduism, we have a book called the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is a small book, as we know it to be. And that book compromises of a conversation between Arjuna, the warrior, and between Lord Krishna. And as many Hindus would know, We should be reading that book on a daily basis. As Arjuna asks Lord Krishna, he says, Bhagwan, God, how can one attain moksha? How can one attain liberation? Is it through praying? Is it through singing? How can we attain liberation? And Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that, yes, man can attain moksha, liberation, by praying. But his statement that summarizes the entire Bhagavad Gita, it's very simple but profound. He says that man attains highest perfection by performing his own natural duties. Simple. Man attains highest perfection by performing his own natural duties. Essentially, what Bhagwan is saying is that if you are a father, be a good father. If you are a doctor, be a good doctor. If you are an engineer, be a good engineer. If you are a daughter, be a good daughter. If you are a neighbor, a friend, simply be a good person. Our good actions and our karmas, that is all that we are taking. Today, our dear sister Pryea, she isn't taking the house, the land, the motor car. She isn't taking all the money in the bank, all of the jewelry. She's taking her karma, her good and bad actions. And God, Bhagwan, he is just simply saying to be a good person. Help those in need. Help does not only mean physical, it does not only mean financial. Simply by saying a kind word to a stranger. You know, long ago when you walk on the road, you would have to say good morning, good afternoon, whether you knew the person or not. Have we realized that as time goes by, that is slowly disappearing? I remember as a young boy, if we were walking down the road and you didn't say good morning, my mom would be like, true? A simple good morning, a simple good afternoon, have a good day. A kind word goes a very long way to individuals. You never know what the person sitting right next to you is going through. You never know. You never know how simply by saying a kind word, you change the trajectory of their lives and by extension yours. So simply put, the Gita is telling us to be a good human being. I always use the example too. I said be a good doctor, be a good father. But even if you are a garbage man, be a good garbage man too. Because no one is better than the other. If you cut the Pandit hand, and you cut Lisa hand, you cut Auntie Dulari hand, all of us, it's the same red blood, correct? If the garbage man doesn't come and collect the garbage, our homes become filthy. We become sick. So we are not better than them. We are not better than the people that we assume have lower jobs than us. Everyone is equal, as everyone has a place, time, and function in society. So my friends, today, you know, before I close, I would leave one anecdote from our Vedas with you. In Hinduism, we believe that there are 4 different ages. It is called Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, and Kaliyug. Simply, in very simple terms, it means that each one of those words that I said represented a period of time that occurred. And it is said in the age of Satyug, there was only good. No one told any lies, no one committed any sins, no one committed any wrong deeds. And it is said that mankind lived for 100,000 years. Saying, but Pandit, what craziness you saying? A person lives for 100,000 years? And it is said during that period of time, good and evil existed in 2 different dimensions. the heavenly region, and what we call the nether realm. And then the second period of time, we call that Treta. Treta is the age where we know that Prabhu Ram came onto earth, and we saw a shift where good and evil no longer existed in two different dimensions, but it existed right here on earth in two different geographical locations, namely Bharat and Lanka. The third period of time was called Dwapar, and we then found that good and evil existed no longer in two different geographical locations, but within the same family. An example of that is the Kauravas and Pandavas that fought for the kingdom. And this period of time that we are presently in is called Kali Yuga. And it is said that good and evil no longer exist just in different realms, different geographical locations, or within families. In the age of Kali Yuga, good and bad exists within each and every one of us. But Pandit, I'm a good person. What craziness you saying? Listen to what I'm telling you. Good and bad exists in each and every one of us. All of us, from time to time, we falter and we commit sin. It's no denying that. Every one of us here, even the Pandit too, at some point in time we made a mistake and we would have committed a sin. But my friends, today I want to tell you that we have something called Vivek. Vivek is the Sanskrit word for discretion. It is the Sanskrit word for choice. Today I want to tell you that you have a choice. You have a choice to be what you want to be. The circumstances that you were born into does not dictate where you will end up. You have the ability to change the direction and course of your life simply by making good decisions and simply by being a good human being. Prem se bolo Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. So my friends, at this point in time, I don't want to keep you all back too long. We have a tribute on the steel pan for Pryea. We just pause for some technical difficulties. At this point in time, my friends, we will have a tribute by Tuana, Waterman of Mount Gay Distilleries Limited. I ask that you please come forward.
Thank you. A tribute to Pryea. It's difficult to put into words the sense of loss we feel since your passing, Pryea. You are more than a colleague to all of us. You are a steady presence, a constant reminder that people always come first. You led selflessly, always thinking about each and every one of us. And for that, we simply say thank you. I think back to January of 2021. The world felt uncertain, even lost, but Pryea was the beacon Monkey family needed. We never questioned whether we were informed or protected, because we were. Step by step, she carried us through COVID, making sure safety and care were never compromised. Thank you, Pryea. Pryea led with grace and professionalism. At the start of every hurricane season, we never had to worry, because there's always an email followed by a call reminding us not only to prepare at work, but to make sure our homes and our families were ready too. That was who she was, always thinking beyond the job. Thank you. Pryea not only received recognition nationally for her contribution during COVID times, but she was also recognized as Safety Person of the Year across corporate Barbados. We celebrated her wholeheartedly because no one was more deserving. That recognition reflected what we already knew: her dedication, her leadership, and her unwavering commitment to people. Pryea's hands touched several projects across the company: our food safety certification, mini mill, and several other committees and major projects. One of Pryea's final gifts was one of Wangar Project, a true example of her belief that no mountain was ever too large. Even when we couldn't see a way forward, she found one. She always did. Pryea, though you're no longer with us, your influence remains. The initiatives that you led strengthened our safety culture and set standards that will continue to guide us today and into tomorrow. The culture of care you champion lives on through all of us. We will remember the smell that greeted us each and every day, the passion you brought to every moment. These are the memories we will hold close to our hearts. Pryea, on behalf of the Monkey family, thank you for everything you brought into our lives. We will always remember your kindness, your energy, and your positive spirit. We remember your infectious smile. And we will cherish your unique gift of making people feel comfortable, heard, and appreciated, no matter who they were. Your presence always reassured us. Thank you, Pryea. Thank you for being our colleague, our friend, our Pryea.
Thank you very much, Ms. Waterman. At this point in time, we also have a tribute message by Dr. Gemma and Benkin. Can you please come forward?
Good afternoon. I met Pryea just a little over 3 years ago, on the 6th of October 2022. And the reason I know that date so well is because that was the day Ava was born. At the time, I had no idea that this brief meeting would grow into such a beautiful and meaningful friendship. But from the very beginning, Pryea had a warmth about her that made people feel seen, welcomed, and cared for. From that very day, she embraced her role as a mother with a strength that still amazes me. Even while she fought her own battles, Pryea loved Ava with her whole heart. When Ava was in the NICU, so tiny, no bigger than the size of a palm, Pryea visited her as much as she possibly could, pouring love into her with every touch, every word, every prayer. And look at Ava today. The sweet little girl she has grown into is a living reminder of Pryea's devotion, courage, and love. They were affectionately known as the warrior princess and queen. Pryea also has such a big desire to let Ava experience life and see the world. She wanted her to create memories and to live fully. Last year, she even traveled with Ava to New York for her birthday, giving her that experience, that joy, and a memory that will always be a part of Ava's story. Pryea was caring, loving, supportive, and above all, a fighter. She faced life with a quiet strength that was truly inspiring. No matter what she was going through, she always had a way of putting others before herself. Her heart was big enough to hold so many people, and she gave her love freely and selflessly. She didn't only support the people in her life, she supported their loved ones too. Pryea celebrated everyone's wins, no matter how big or small, and she made you feel proud of yourself, even when you didn't know how to be. But more importantly than the celebrations, Pryea was a shoulder to lean on in challenging times. She was the kind of friend who didn't show up when life was good, she showed up when it was hard. She loved deeply Ava, her family, her friends, her dogs, and life itself. Even in difficult moments, Pryea had a remarkable way of making the best out of a bad situation. She always found the silver lining, always chose hope, and always reminded those around her that light could still be found even in the darkest times. And I'm sure we will all certainly miss Prya's laughter, the kind of laughter that brightens up a room and makes everyone else smile. One of Prya's favorite things was creating memories. She truly valued moments, and she made sure they were never forgotten. Pryea loved taking pictures, capturing little snapshots of life and the people she loved. Whether it was a simple day, a special outing, or just being around family, she always wanted to document it. And it wasn't only about her taking photos. Pryea loved receiving them too. She would always ask for pictures to be sent to her whenever I traveled or even when I simply went out. One of her favorite things to say was, "Take lots of pics." Because of her, photos weren't just images. They were memories she could hold on to. She always found ways to preserve love, joy, and togetherness. One of the most powerful reminders of who Pryea was came after she had already left. The last thing she gave me was a personalized gift, which I received after she passed away. In that moment, all I could think was how perfectly it summed her up. Still thinking of others, still giving, still loving, even when she herself wasn't feeling well. That was Pryea, always putting love into the world. And in the little everyday moments too, she brought so much comfort. I genuinely look forward to her daily Ava pictures and messages, especially after a stressful day at work. Sometimes I'd reply late in the evening and say, "Sorry girl, I had a long day." And I'd be met with a, "That's all right, sugar." And just like that, our chat would make me feel so much better. It didn't matter what the day had thrown at me, Pryea had this way of making things feel lighter. She brought peace without even trying. There is a quote that says, "Friendship isn't about who you've known the longest, it's about who walked into your life, said, 'I'm here for you,' and proved it." Pryea proved that every single day. I will forever be grateful I was given the privilege of knowing her and loving her. I will miss her dearly more than words can say. Prya's absence leaves a space that can never truly be filled, but her kindness and strength live on in all of us who knew her, especially through Ava, in her smile, her light, and the love that surrounds her. Rest peacefully, my sweet Pryea, until we meet again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gemma. And I believe we will have the tribute on the steel pan. Thank you very much. Excellently done by this young man today. And as you guys probably know, given away from the accent that I am from Trinidad. And that was well done, wow. Please give him a round of applause. Next, we will have a tribute message delivered by Shelly and Charmin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Pryea girl, this is a hard one. Today, we gather to remember and celebrate the life of Pryea, a truly special person whose absence leaves a deep void in our hearts. Pryea was a beacon of joy, and her bubbly personality could light up any room. She was passionate and caring, always checking in on those she loved, making sure everyone was okay. That was who she was, kind, attentive, and full of life. Some of my favorite memories with her would be when she would pick me up and we would zip off in her little black Suzuki. Some of us know she was a bit of a lead foot. Her friend, I believe I saw Nikki. Nikki can attest to that as well. We'd catch up on everything from work to just hearing the latest news on the next set of parties and just life in general. Her infectious excitement making every moment memorable. Even in her own struggles, Pryea's caring nature shone brightly. Last year, when I was feeling unwell, despite her own illness, she went out of her way to get what I needed from the supermarket. She even gave me something from her own pantry to help me to feel better. That, again, was the kind of person she was, always thinking of others, always caring. Her love for Ava was evident in everything she did. Pryea's legacy lives on in Ava, her strength, her kindness, her bubbly and unwavering spirit. In closing, I would like to leave the congregation to ponder with this. You don't have to hear from someone every day to know that they are there. Sometimes it's how we move through our interactions, the small gestures, the caring acts of love that truly show their presence in our lives. I'll read a Bible verse. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4-7 says, "Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres." Let's honor Pryea by keeping her memory alive through our kindness, our caring, and the love we share with those around us. May her soul rest in peace, and may perpetual light shine upon her. Amen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Pryea and I met 11 years ago at the gym, and it was one of those times where you just knew that you liked the person instantly. As someone said to me, she radiated sunshine and kindness. As the years went by, we grew closer and closer, sharing intimate details of our lives about work, family, and relationships. When I was expecting a child and had to spend quite some time in hospital, she visited me regularly, and then when I unfortunately lost that child after birth, She made sure she checked on me every day to ask me what I needed and to offer words of comfort. Pryea loved life and lived life in color. She placed everyone's needs before her own, had the kindest soul and the sweetest spirit, and was a great mom to Ava, who she considered her life's biggest achievement. The last time I saw her was on Boxing Day when I visited her at home. And as we always did, we just talked for hours about all sorts of things. As tired as she may have been, she was in good spirits, and I could tell she appreciated the company. When I was leaving, she hugged me as she always did. I never imagined that would be the last time. Pryea, I told you many times that I love you, and I hope you know that I really did, and I really do. I will miss you more than any words can express, and my heart is completely broken. I pray you are at peace. Ava will be in good hands with all of us, and we will keep your memory alive for her. Rest peacefully now, my friend. I will love you forever. This next tribute is from Jackie on her behalf. Pryea came into my life like a whirlwind in 2018. I know you wouldn't believe that it was only in 2018 that we met by the way she was attached to my hip. We didn't hit it off at first. I remember going to a cruise and Pryea was there with other friends. If you know me, you would know that I do not really look around when entering a room or an event. My sister did though and casually asked, "Doesn't that girl work with you?" I said, "I think so," but I didn't acknowledge Pryea or speak. She would later tell me that at that point she decided that she didn't like me because she thought it was unmannerly. But in true Pryea fashion, she forgave and moved on. Later on, I remember hearing her in the quality lab at Mount Gay talking about her plans for her birthday and the 2018 Cropover events. She was very big on celebrations. I said, "You know, we should link up at some point because I would like to go to some events and the company would be nice." And just like that, we became friends. But you see, when she found out that I also had Guyanese heritage, we became fast friends. She would always bring me food and snacks. I would like to think it was because she was just sharing and not because she knew I couldn't cook some of the Guyanese foods too well or that I looked hungry. And thus began Pryea and Jackie, a weird combination of talkative versus quiet, living life spontaneously versus overthinking, and vocal with love versus the most reserved. But you know what? It worked for us. I won't go through Pryea's diagnosis, but I will say that she remained a fighter throughout. Her happiest moments were finding out that she was pregnant with the blob, as she referred to Ava in her belly, and the day that she took Ava home from the hospital. Ava was her guiding light and her heartbeat. She often referred to her as her greatest achievement, and this was evident for all to see. I now see so much of Pryea in Ava, her defiance, her pout, but most of all, her love for others. And I take comfort in the fact that the best parts of Pryea are still with us through her daughter. Even with all the ups and downs, I am thankful for the day that we became friends and sisters. May Pryea now rest in peace and rise in glory.
Thank you very much, Shelly and Charmin. And as everyone, they're giving their tributes, I realize more and more, what the Pandit was speaking about earlier, about being kind, about being a good person. I can definitely say that Pryea was indeed a genuinely good and kind person. And simply by looking forward here and looking at all of you that are present today, it's a testament to her character and the type of person that she was. And last but not least, today we have delivering the eulogy would be her brother, Rabindra Mahadeo.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Should I start with a joke? I don't think Pryea will mind. Pryea started her journey of life on July 22nd, 1983, where she was born in Guyana to Mats and Indra. By the time she was 1, she was living in Barbados with her mom and dad. She went to a small private school called Cambridge Prep. Then afterwards, she went to Ursuline Convent, then BCC and UE. There she made many friends, many of whom are with us here today. She started her career at Barbados Bottling Co. in 2007 as a lab technician and then as a quality assurance technician. Then she moved on to REA International as an occupational safety and hygiene assistant. Then she moved on to Tortuga, Barbados as a quality assurance and food safety officer. All this is up from the CV, so I remember. Lastly, she moved on to Mount Gay in 2016, where she's working for 9 years, starting as a quality system and safety coordinator, and moving on to her last role as a safety and security coordinator. She enjoyed her time at Mount Gay. And I also enjoyed her perks and the occasional bottle of XO. For our story, she was my big sister. And as such, when we were little, we fought. Apparently, I would behead her Barbies, and then just show me that my Legos can fly out a window. We eventually learned that we weren't mortal enemies and learned to love each other. We had our ups and downs, but we always support each other. She loved me. She loved Natasha. The day we got dethroned, when Alana and Leah came along, we were no longer her first priority. And they could do no wrong when Auntie was here, and they knew it well. Then in April 2022, everything changed. She called me up to go with her to get a test done and speak with the doctor. We knew what was coming, but she was ready to face it head on. Then the doctor gave us the bad news, the unfortunate C word. We were all worried, but we all knew she would do what it takes. Then 1 week after that diagnosis, she wasn't feeling well. So Natasha said, "Come stay with us for a night." Next day, Natasha insists that we get a doctor to come and check her to make sure everything is fine. And then we heard it coming from Alana's bedroom. Oh my God. We had no idea what it could be. Then she told us Ava was in the oven starting to bake. This is the booth that she and we all needed. No, she needed to survive for her little bundle. As her pregnancy progressed, she moved in with us. And we continued to have hope that everything would be clearing up. And then October, when Ava was born, 2022, life changed again. She went for a checkup, and then doctor said, "It's time for you to go. It's time." From there, our tiny squishy Ava was born. And from there, I knew I got pushed down the list again, but I couldn't care less. We had a new addition, a third Mahadeo in our family. Our Ava fought hard, even though she was born so early. We visited her every day until she was finally able to come home with us just before New Year's in 2023. Pryea and us couldn't be happier. We finally had our healthy Ava home. From there, she continued to fight while showering Ava with her love. I could continue for hours and hours on her life, but it's time for her to rest. Throughout her life, she touched the lives of many persons. She was tried by life, but she never gave up until this final battle. She fought tirelessly, giving her best right until the end. To Jackie, I'm very glad she chose you to watch over our precious Ava. I know she'll be well taken care of and well loved. Ava might have lost her mum, but she's gained many guardians who will be there to stand with you as we all care for Ava. As I look around, I can see how many lives she has touched, and I'm glad to say that person you all love is my sister. I love you, and I miss you more than you'll ever know. Rest well. Tell mommy hello.
Thank you very much, Robin. My friends, this brings us to the conclusion of our Antishtikam, or our final rites. At this point in time, I invite each and every one of you to please stand as we all join in closing prayer. We all clasp our hands, close our eyes, as we join in prayer, as we thank Bhagwan for the air that we breathe, the sun that shines, the rain that falls, for those of you that have traveled to come, the snow that falls as well. Today we want to thank Bhagwan, we want to thank God for blessing us with that person that is Pryea, that has showered love, kindness, and humanity to each and every one of us that is present here today. Mangala Bhavanaya Mangala Hari Dravahu Sudhasaratha Ajna Vihari Ajna Vihari Rama Ajna Vihari Dravahu Sudhasarata Ajna Vihari Jaya Rama Sri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Bolo Rama 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 Sita Rama Rama Ram Itani Shakti हमें न दाता मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना हम चले नेक रास्ते पे हमसे भूल करनी कोई भूल होना. Everyone, त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धु च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव. अनाधिनिधनो देवा शङ्खचक्रगदाधर अक्षपुण्डरीकाक्षं प्रेतमोक्षे प्रदो भव. आत्मशांति प्रेत शांति. राम नाम सत्य है, राम नाम सत्य है, राम नाम सत्य है. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I want to thank each and every one of you for lending your support, for all of the messages, all of the phone calls, all of the visits to the family. On their behalf, I would like to thank each and every one of you. At this point in time, you all can please take your seats. Thank you.